What's happening, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Comeback Sports. I'm your host, Pat the Shot Caller Flaherty, and I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Brandon the Coach Perry. Brandon, another week in sports, another crazy week in sports. A lot going on, my friend. How you doing?
I'm actually doing great, man. What's up, Pat? How are you doing, my friend? And shout out to all the viewers out there as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of great viewers out there. I'm doing good too, buddy. We had a great caller last week in James Merlin, and a lot of folks overseas are checking out a lot of our videos. We really appreciate that. We want to really thank the audiences overseas, especially, and the audiences here in the good old US of A, also, who are checking into our show. Our views are going up, our subscriptions are going up. The more you can spread the word about our show, the better. It's certainly going to help us, and it's certainly going to help our show, and we really appreciate all the loyal listeners out there. Once again, as always, folks, 10 topics tonight in our sports talk show with a lot of different sports to cover, as usual. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see our Twitter handle, so make sure you follow us on Twitter. If you're watching this on YouTube, you've already found the Comeback Sports channel. But make sure you subscribe to the Comeback Sports channel, and then every time we post a video, it's going to go straight to your feed. You can just click on your Comeback Sports subscription and watch any Comeback Sports video you want, whether it's a live show, one of the segments that our great producer Ben Kudo cuts up afterwards, and you just want to watch one of the segments and check that out. All that stuff will be fed to your Comeback Sports channel, so make sure you check that out right there. We're going to kick things off here this week with the tournament that's happening tomorrow. It's the British Open here in 2021 at the Royal St. George's Golf Club in Sandwich, England. It's the last, they changed the major schedule this year, so the British Open is now the last major of the season. It's normally the PGA Championship in August, but the British this year, because the PGA was in May, is now in the last one in July. Always going to be a lot of fun. The British Open seems to always be a little crazy because the weather over there is always so unpredictable. We're going to get that again this week. Brennan, what do you think about the British Open this week, and who you got as one of your favorites to win the British here in 2021?
Well, first off, for our fans out there, we're both wearing green today. That's by mistake. We did not plan that.
This was not planned. We did not just out of the same closet. So let's
exactly. If we plan something, it'll be a lot better than that. I can guarantee. But I will say, man, it's going to be lit in the UK this week, because not only is it the Open this week, okay, and I know it's not one of our topics, but I'm a big F1 fan. The British Grand Prix is also this weekend, so I'm looking forward to seeing what those British drivers can do at the British Grand Prix, especially Lewis Hamilton. But between the British Grand Prix and the Open in 1 week in the UK, I'm sure that's just an amazing sporting event weekend for the UK and for all their fans, and not only for them, but for us as well. So I know the Open is really one of the best tournaments in the world, and obviously it's one of the 4 majors. So everybody's looking to get their hands on one of those titles and one of those cups. And honestly, there's so many people that you can look to that could have a good tournament. And it's often the dark horse. It's often the people that nobody really picks that goes and wins these big tournaments. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm really excited just because, like you said, the weather is always a challenge. These courses are some of the oldest courses in the world, some of the most challenging courses in the world. Okay. And obviously in the UK and in the Open, those deep bunkers are something that we're always used to seeing. And it's one of those things where, man, if you get in one of those deep bunkers, it could ruin your whole tournament just in that one hit. And for you guys out there, if you've never played golf, there's nothing like that here in America, at least that I've seen, as far as how deep some of these bunkers are in the UK. So you really have to be a skilled and talented golfer, along with how long the rough is going to be. So it's always one of these games where you really have to be accurate off the tee to be able to give yourself a chance to win this tournament. So I don't know, man, a really tough call on who's going to win. So I don't know. I guess Xander Schauffele has always seemed to put himself up there on the board. I think he's just yet to really put himself in the moment to win the big one. So I guess I'm rooting for Xander Schauffele, obviously an American. And then I'm also rooting for Brooks Koepka. He's still keeping that rivalry with him and Bryson DeChambeau going. And obviously this is a little side topic, but I don't know if you've seen his interview, Pat. Bryson said he'd be willing to play with Brooks on the Ryder Cup team. And then they went to Brooks, and Brooks said, you know what, if he's on the team, whatever, I'll play with him, but just do not pair me with him. So it's one of those things where, like, Brooks is still not feeling it. So I've got to keep picking Brooks, man, because he's the man right now. I'm really enjoying Brooks Koepka.
Some folks are saying that feud kind of doesn't matter, or it's manufactured. I love it. Golf needs this, and it's great. We've talked about that many times. So I love the fact that those guys are kind of still going at it and keep chirping at each other. Even if they don't necessarily hate each other, they aren't comfortable around each other, which is a really good thing. Too many athletes today, I think, are too buddy-buddy, especially on the playing surface or court or whatever.
Agreed.
It doesn't matter, but I love it. Once again, this British Open, I think the last time was at this course was 2011, and Dustin Johnson and Phil Mickelson tied for second in that one. So you see DJ, he's such a good ball striker, very talented. So the thing with Johnson this week is if he, can put it all together and stay consistent, I think he's certainly got a chance. The thing is with him, if he kind of goes off the rails, especially early, he's not necessarily going to come back. He sometimes just kind of loses it at certain points in a tournament if he struggles for a few holes or even for, the front nine or the back nine on one of the early rounds especially. So with the bad weather that's supposed to come in, that could happen to some guys. So we'll see how they handle it. We'll see if DJ has to handle that at some point. You mentioned the bunkers and Phil Mickelson, who's unbelievable with his short game out of the bunker. So, he might be able to put something together after picking up that PGA championship win not a couple months ago. We'll see if he can, get another major this season. I think it'll be tough for a guy his age to get 2 majors in 1 year, but we've seen crazier things happen. So we'll see if Phil can put it together this week. But the guy I think is going to win is Jordan Spieth. I know I've been kind of rooting for Jordan this whole year. He's playing well this year. He hasn't won any majors yet. He hasn't won a ton of tournaments. He's won this year, but he's playing really well statistically. Strokes gained, tee to green. He's been really good. He's actually statistically been better this year than he was back in 2017 when he won the British Open. So I think Spieth is a guy that you can look out for this week with nasty weather. There's going to be holes where you're going to have to scramble a lot. Spieth can do that. If Spieth gets his putter going like he always does when he's playing well, I think he has as good a chance as anybody. And the other guy I think that has a great chance, he's always hanging around in majors, especially recently at the U.S. Open. Still wasn't able to get it done, but Louis Oosthuizen is always good on majors, and then he's always good at the British Open because of his iron play and how good he is as a ball striker. He doesn't bomb it down the fairway off the tee, but his ball striking, his consistency, he's a guy that I think could definitely win the British Open as well. I think for a guy like Louis, especially like his first major, I got to think it's going to be the British Open. That's gonna be the one that gets him there if he ever does win one. So I would say either Jordan Spieth or Louis Oosthuizen are my picks for the British Open here in 2021.
Yeah, I think those are both great picks, especially Louis. Like you said, he just seems to always put himself in the position to have a chance to win, especially on Sunday at these big major tournaments. And quickly before we go on, let's not forget that Bubba Watson, unfortunately, is ruled out due to COVID restrictions and being in close contact with somebody that tested positive for COVID. So unfortunately for Bubba Watson, he won't have a chance to go and go for that title. But that would have been another guy that I think you could put in there if he was being able to play in this tournament, because he hits it so long. And when he dials it in, he can be long and accurate. And that is perfect in some of these UK courses. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll really be looking to see, especially who can get hot and if they can carry that over into rounds 3 and 4. I think that'll be huge.